Hello, today we're talking to Proctor360. They're a tech startup who currently have an investment offering active on startengine.com. They're a remote testing company who've developed new technology for computer-based testing online. Computer-based testing is currently a $42 billion industry, and it's growing. The remote testing portion of that is projected to hit $10 billion over the next 5 years, and that's before products like Proctor360's have been introduced. Industry experts are currently calling this a potential game changer. Today we're talking with the CTO of Proctor360, Kranthi Bethula. We're going to learn more about the product they're producing for this market and a little bit more about their investment offering as well. Kranthi, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Before we get to what Proctor360 is developing, tell us a little bit about what remote testing is, how it works currently, and what the problems are, the challenges to the marketplace as it stands right now.
So remote testing currently is done with a single webcam. That's the one on your laptop that usually people use. So it can be used on a laptop or a desktop, but the point is they use a single webcam. And basically the problems with that is it's only one field of view. So imagine behind your computer, you had cheating material to your right or to your left, you could have cheating material all around you. I mean, I've seen people with note cards right up against their screen. That's still out of the view of a single camera. So it's a pretty easy system to cheat. I've seen when we were researching this topic and getting ready to launch our company and just beginning the process of developing tech, we did a lot of research. We found a lot of papers. I think there was one that reported that 33% of all online students admit to cheating. And then of the number that were actually caught, it's like 2.1%. So there's like a huge divide in that area. And like I've also seen dedicated websites purely to just teach you how to cheat the single camera system. And it's really simple stuff just like that. Have a note card or a sticky note on the side of your computer. They in the beginning, they kind of make you turn your laptop around the entire room to show you. But if it's still out of the field of view, it really doesn't matter.
Well, I would imagine then that it's not really an option for certain types of exams then to be taken remotely.
Yeah, and that's the big problem. That's why a lot of companies and schools too, they're not too keen on moving to remote testing because they know it has huge limitations and blind spots. That's why they tend to stay in like testing centers. And testing centers, they're very secure. I'll give them that, but they're also extremely inconvenient. Have like very specific times and dates that you can show up. So it's limiting on both factors.
Yeah, my sister actually experienced a challenge traveling to a testing center. She's a phlebotomist. She works in a blood lab at one of the major hospitals here in town, and she was taking online classes to advance her career in that area, and she was able to take all the classes online while she was working full-time. She was able to do that from home, but when it came time to actually take the certifying exam, she had to do that at a live testing center, and there wasn't one available in Kansas City. She had to drive 2 hours away to find a live testing center that would proctor that exam. It was kind of
it's crazy. I mean, Ganga, our CEO, he owns and operates like multiple testing centers, and this was kind of the solution to the problem. He saw a bunch of customers come in, and they were like, "Yeah, I had to drive an hour because you guys were the only people that were available on this date." So it's ridiculous, and it really, there are no other options or better options. And like for some people, they really do have to drive hours out of the way to like come to a testing center and take their exam. And that's not even guaranteeing that they could take it when they want. Some people are only available on weekends, and I know for a fact that his testing center gets filled up every weekend. Like from, I think it's 10 to 5. Like they're constantly running tests, constantly.
So you could literally take all the training you need, take all the classes you need to get into a certification or to get to that point where it's time to take an exam. But then you could actually get to the point where you need to take the exam, and there's just nowhere for you to take it. It could be that the
yeah. So like it really does like limit a lot of people, and people do procrastinate and they wait till the last minute to study and take their exam. But like imagine you only had a week before your certification or exam was due and you couldn't like take it that weekend. I'm sure it's extremely frustrating, but we see it happen to people all the time.
So then there's really a sort of social justice component to this too, at least from my perspective, because we talk about access to education as not being not only important in developing countries around the world, but even right here in the United States. You have families that live in remote areas, heavily rural areas, where those areas can typically or can be economically depressed to begin with, and you might have parents that are working full time, maybe even working two jobs to support their families, but they're trying to get ahead. They're trying to make a better life for themselves, so they're taking classes online. They're trying to advance their career, try to get ahead, and they can do most of that. The access to education is there in terms of the learning. The technology has delivered that part of the promise. But when it finally comes time to take the exam that gets you a new professional certification or something of that nature that is the actual validation of your learning, it can be very difficult. If you're living in remote areas or rural areas, you could be talking about having to take a day off work to actually travel to another city where you could take a live exam, and that could be potentially not possible for a lot of adults that are trying to continue their education while working a full-time job, while raising families, and things like that. I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, we put a lot of work and effort to make learning online, but we forget about the second half of that. Like, obviously, education has to be verified. So that verification process through testing hasn't progressed to go online yet. And like you were saying, like, they deserve the right to be educated and get the certifications that they deserve, or take the test to pass the exam for the class and get credit for it. So I think there needs to be just as many strides made in testing as there should be in online learning.
Yeah, and we should point out that, again, the global e-learning market is $91 billion at present, okay? And the portion of that that's part of computer-based testing globally is $42 billion. So we're not talking about a hypothetical situation that will become an issue in the future. We're talking about an industry that right now needs a solution. I mean, it's a lot of money going into this, and
yeah. I mean, you can see on that same graph, 42 billion was for online testing, or it was online testing that involves remote testing as well as the testing centers. So it's roughly half the market of 91 billion, and you can see why, because testing is the other half of learning, right? So it makes sense that it would hold such a big part of that market, and there's a huge potential to grow. And I know that a lot of the companies, a lot of the schools, like, if they offer these online classes, they want to be completely online, completely remote. But right now, technology just isn't developed enough. There aren't enough products on the market to be able to do that well. And that's the reason we created Proctor360, to kind of have a solution, a comprehensive solution for everyone. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Proctor360 does have a solution, though. So tell us now what Proctor360 is doing to solve the problem.
Yeah, so we designed an original headset. Basically, it has a 360-degree camera on top, and that allows us to get a full view of the testing space. That, coupled with the technology that's already available, like the front-facing camera, lockout software on the desktop that the user is using, allows us to be the most comprehensive solution on the market for online testing. So we're really giving a chance, and we're transitioning the market to be able to go online. So a lot of testing center users can now take their exams at home with the same level of security without having to travel anywhere. So our system is pretty simple. We ship it to the user directly. They have to schedule the date and time that they want to take it. We ship it to them. They take their exam, and then they return it back to us once it's done. So they're proctored while they're taking their exam. They connect via internet connection, and they can our proctors are able to view them taking the test. They're able to verify that the location is clear, that there's no cheating material available, and then they verify that the test is done, and then like I was saying, the user just puts it back in the same box it comes. We give them the return label, and then they just ship it back to us.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before. You guys kind of draw the comparison to Netflix and calling it the Netflix of testing, because the idea is you sign up for the test you want to take, and then a couple of days later the headset comes in the mail, you have the software, you take your test at the registered time, and then you send the headset back when you're done. So, I mean, it's really convenient. It's all about making
all other markets are kind of moving in that direction too. You can see travel, food, entertainment, Uber, Eat Street, Netflix, they're all moving towards convenience. That's something that we're, as a country, as a market, we're becoming more used to, and we're expecting regularly. So I think the education market should follow suit, and the testing market should follow suit as well, and provide convenience to the end user.
So you designed this 360-degree headset that can see the entire room, and you've got a patent application filed for this product right now, right?
Yeah, we have a utility patent for the use of a 360-degree camera in the testing space.
Yeah, I mean, that's great, because a utility patent from an investor standpoint is a lot more valuable potentially. A design patent often can just be beat by changing a few things, and another company can file for a new patent or essentially void your design patent. But a utility patent basically means that the headset, the 360-degree headset, for the purposes of online testing, remote testing, is patented by Proctor360. Any company that wants to do that is going to have to go through you guys in the future, because that could be potentially huge. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar market after all.
Yeah, no, we're excited. We applied for the patent a couple months ago, and then we just began the business very soon after. And then we saw the potential, we saw the need, and we're kind of in fundraising mode right now, but we get organic calls, like just people looking up new solutions for Proctor testing, like fairly regularly every week.
Yeah, and it's important to point out that you are not at an idea stage right now. This isn't just a theoretical concept. You've actually developed working prototypes, and you've actually had a soft launch event.
And we were able to test that it worked. I'm sure we've given you a demo at a certain point, and we give all our customers that are interested a live demo, and we show them in the testing space, and we let them try to pick out cheating points. So they're like, well, what if I went like this, or looked over there, or someone walked in? So we show them that there's no way you can cheat. So, if they ask us to turn left, we turn left. It's not something that's recorded and put there. We're able to do it in real time and show them that it works and is effective.
Okay, so we know you have a product that solves a real problem within a multi-billion-dollar market. Talk to us now about your investment offering that's active on Start Engine, and how people can invest if they're interested.
So the growth potential for this, as you were saying, is huge. We do have an investment offering, an online public offering on startengine.com. You can check it out at startengine.com/Proctor360. So overall, we're trying to raise about $100K just to go into full-scale production and start the transition process of a lot of these testing center users into remote testing. We've been putting a lot of work in just to, like I was saying before, when we were in sales mode, we talked to a lot of customers. We were getting maybe, 10 or 12 demos a week. I mean, now that we're kind of in funding mode, we've stopped that. So just on pure organic searches, we're getting 3 or 4 every week. Someone's like, hey, I want to see a demo. I want to use your system. These aren't just oh, I'll give you 100 exams. These are oh, I have 500 students to 1,000 that need to take the exam. Yeah.
All right. So Proctor360, it's a tech startup with a product already designed, already validated. There's already interest in the market for it, and it's a huge market. It's a $42 billion market, of which they intend to capture a substantial portion. They're an American company. The offering that they have available now for investment is SEC regulated, and it's open to both accredited and non-accredited investors. If you're interested in investing in this company, and it is a limited offering, so you do have to act quickly if you want to make an investment, you can go to startengine.com/Proctor360 and check out all the offering details for yourself. Kranthi, I want to thank you for joining me today and for talking more about your product and sharing more of the information about what you guys have planned for the future. I'm sure we'll be speaking to you again soon. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you again